I'm not going to start with a hype-filled list of specs, because that's what you'll see on the product page anyway. What matters is whether this bike will actually sit in your living room, stay in your routine, and feel worth the price. If you're on the fence because you've seen a lot of flashy recumbent bikes that look great in the showroom, but end up collecting dust, this review is for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest hesitation most people have with a home recumbent bike is space. The Soul LCR is a fairly sizable piece. Its frame is built to feel sturdy, and the seat sits lower than a traditional upright bike. In my own apartment, the bike took up a 6x4 foot footprint, which meant moving the coffee table aside and rearranging the rug. If you have a dedicated workout corner, or a spare bedroom, you'll probably be fine. If you're living in a studio with a tiny hallway, you might need to think twice before committing. Unpacking is another hidden hurdle. The company warns you to double-check your delivery details, and that's not just marketing fluff. The bike arrives in several large boxes, and the frame is pre-assembled, but the screen, pedals, and resistance unit still need to be bolted together. Most reviewers say you can get it on the floor in about an hour with a basic toolbox, but you'll need a clear path from the delivery truck to the room where you plan to set it up. If you're not comfortable with a little DIY, you might want to factor in the cost of a professional assembly service. What really sets the LCR apart is the 10.1-inch touchscreen that doubles as your workout hub. In practice, this means you can scroll through a library of streaming classes, watch a YouTube cycling video, or sync the bike with your favorite fitness app via Bluetooth. I tried a 30-minute indoor cycling class while catching up on a documentary, and the screen stayed bright enough even with sunlight streaming through the window. The real test is whether the interface feels intuitive during a sweaty session. The menu layers are shallow press play, adjust resistance, and you're good to go so you're not fumbling with settings mid-ride. For anyone who likes a bit of entertainment to keep the mind occupied, that screen is a genuine time saver. The ultimate adjustability claim is more than just a marketing phrase. The seat back can tilt, the seat height slides forward and backward, and the pedals have a quick-release lever for swapping in your own clipless shoes. I found the sweet spot for my 5 feet 9 inches frame after a couple of quick tweaks, and once set, the bike didn't shift at all when I cranked up the resistance. That level of personalization is especially useful if multiple people will share the bike. The downside? The adjustment knobs are a bit stiff, so if you're looking to switch positions between sets, you'll need to pause a moment. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to be aware of. Speaking of resistance, Soul has added an EMS, electrical muscle stimulation, component. In plain terms, the bike can send low-level pulses to your legs while you pedal, aimed at boosting muscle activation. The feature is optional and controlled via the screen. In real-world use, you'll notice a subtle tingling if you turn it on, and after a few weeks some users report a slightly quicker recovery after intense intervals. However, the effect isn't dramatic enough to replace a dedicated EMS device, and if you have any medical conditions, especially cardiac issues, you'll want to consult a doctor before using it. Now, let's talk about the day-to-day experience. The bike's flywheel feels smooth, and the magnetic resistance changes quietly, which is a blessing if you live in an apartment with thin walls. I tested it during a weekday morning when my roommate was still sleeping, and the bike barely made a sound beyond the occasional click of the resistance knob. The ergonomics of the reclined seat make longer rides more comfortable than an upright bike, especially for people with lower back concerns. The padded seat is firm enough to provide support, but not so hard that it becomes a pressure point after the first half hour. On the flip side, the LCR isn't the cheapest option in the recumbent market. The price point reflects the large screen, built-in Bluetooth speakers, and the premium frame, but if you're only after a basic cardio machine, you could find a simpler model for a fraction of the cost. Also, the integrated speakers are decent for background music, but they won't fill a large living room with bass. If high-fidelity sound is a must, you'll probably want to pair the bike with external speakers via the Bluetooth connection. Who should buy this bike? If you're a home-based professional who wants a low-impact cardio option that can double as a media center, the LCR hits the sweet spot. It's great for people recovering from injury who need a reclined position, for older adults who find upright bikes harsh on